Good morning, dear students. I am Rakesh Kumar, TGT Social Science PG Senior Secondary School, Captain Kushinagar. Dear students, today we are going to study chapter 2nd of our geography section, that is physical features of India. In this chapter, we are going to study about the detailed physical feature whatever found in India. So let us start now. We know India, Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan and Bangladesh are separated from the rest of the Asia by the Himalayan mountain range. This range is called Indian subcontinent. This range is called Indian subcontinent. A subcontinent is a big geographical unit which stands out distinctly from the rest of the continent. And we also know that our nation is a vast nation and it has a great variety of physical features like high mountain, extensive flat plateau and fertile river valleys. India can be broadly divided into 6 physical divisions. These divisions are the Himalayan mountains, the northern plains, the peninsular plateau, the Indian desert, the coastal plain and the island. When we see the map of India, easily we can see these physical features of India. Now we are going to start from the northern mountains, that is Himalayan mountain. From the above map you can see Himalaya is situated at the northern side of India. So let us start from the Pamir Knot. You can see the Pamir Knot. This is the Pamir Knot due to its great height is known as the roof of the world. This knot is known as the roof of the world and several mountain ranges run in all directions from this knot. No matter, we are going to study about the Himalayan, so we shall come on the Himalayan. The Karakoram and the Himalayas are located along the northern frontier of India. This is north direction and this is south. So these are located on the northern frontier of India. These are the highest mountain ranges in the world. These are Youngfold mountain, means they have formed several millions years ago. That is why they are known as the Youngfold mountain. The Karakoram mountains lie between the Pamir Knot and the Indus river in Jammu and Kashmir. It stands eastward from the Pamir Knot about 800 km. This region has many glaciers such as Balatoro, Siachen and a number of snow-covered mountain peaks. Mount Godwin Austen or K2, this is Karakoram range, this is K2 and K2 की the height of K2 is 8611 meter, the highest peak in India. Now it is in, you can say, POK, and it is second highest peak of the world also. Now, and these are situated in the Karakoram mountain. Towards the south of Karakoram range, the Ladakh and the Jaskar range. The Indus river in the Kashmir region flows between these range. Means that is Jaskar range, that is Ladakh range. So Indus river flow from this range. This is the path of Indus river. So this is very important for us to know. Now the Himalayas extended from the Indus river in the west. Easily we can say understood that Indus river is here we can see, and in the west, and Brahmaputra river in the east. This is the Brahmaputra river. So It is extended from Indus to Brahmaputra. Himalayas means the abode of snow. Him in Hindi or Sanskrit you can say him means barf and ala means ghar. So this is the meaning abode of the snow. Himalayas means the abode of the snow. These mountains run from west to east. From west to east, this is west direction and this is east direction. So they run from west to east and the distance is about 2400 kilometers and the width varies. Some places it has 400 kilometer of width and some places it has 150 kilometer of width. So the width varies from time to time. The Himalayas consist of the three parallel ranges from north to south. So from north to south. So this is you can say north and this is south direction. So from north to south three ranges are there. Three parallel ranges are there. We are going to have a look on three ranges. The first is Himadri, Himachal and the Shivalik. Himadri is known as the Greater Himalayas. Himadri is known as the Greater Himalayas and is the highest mountain range in the world. Most of the mountain peaks are permanently under snow in the Himadri region and Himadri region. Mount Everest, the height of Mount Everest is 8848 meter is situated in this region and it is in Nepal. You can locate this Mount Everest height and it is in Nepal. It is highest peak of the world. Afterward, Kanchenjunga, this is situated in our nation and according to new GK, Kanchenjunga is our highest peak. So Kanchenjunga is you can say the height is 8598 meter is the highest peak of India. You can say K2 is there, but K2 is now situated in POK. So that is why we should know that the Kanchenjunga is our highest peak. Now come to Himachal. The Himachal or the lesser Himalaya lie toward the south of Himadri. Means south of Himadri, Himadri south means this direction. So it lies in the south of Himadri or lesser Himalaya. Lie toward the south of Himadri. The important mountain ranges are Pir Panjal, Dhauladhar. Jammu Kashmir highway passes through the Banihal Pass. Located in Pir Panjal range, many popular hill stations at Simla, Dalhousie, Kullu Manali, Mussoorie, Nainital and Darjeeling are situated in these mountain ranges. Some questions are mentioned in your book. See the book and fill the things. Now we come to the Shivalik. The Shivalik or the outer Himalayas is the southernmost mountain range. These ranges are made up of loose deposit or soft rock. Actually, when mountain region make a slope and the water come down from the upper hill slopes, so they deposit their materials in the lesser Himalayas. So Shivalik range made up of those deposited materials. These ranges are made up of loose deposit of soft rock. Mud and silt landslides are common in this part of Himalayas. Easily in the news you can see many times you can see in the news landslide takes place in the region. The Purvanchal ranges here. The Purvanchal ranges are found along the eastern boundary of India. They form a series of low hills. They have Patkai this and the Naga Hills in the north and Mizo Hills. Naga Hills, Mizo Hills should be here. See, you can see in the south. The central part has Garo Khasi and Jantia Hill. Garo Khasi, Jantia Hill. These hill ranges are several big rivers originate from the Himalayas. Most of them flow through the northern plains, like you can say Indus River, Jhelum, Ravi, Satluj, Byas, and here you can say Brahmaputra River. So many rivers originated from here. Either they fall in the Bay of Bengal or they fall in the either they fall in the Arabian Sea or they fall in the Bay of Bengal. So now students, we are going to study about the northern plains. So dear students, on the map of India we can easily identify the northern plains. These are made up of three important rivers, that is the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra. These rivers made a big fertile plain that is made up of alluvial soil. Alluvial soil name came after the alluvium, means deposited material which are flowed with the river water. So northern plains occupy the greater part of northern India. That is that's why it is known as northern plains. This is northern India. So it lies toward the south of the northern mountain. It is also known as Ganga Brahmaputra plain. Why? Because you can see this is the floating of the Ganga and its tributaries, and here it is Brahmaputra came into India. So easily you can say the plain is made up of Ganga and Brahmaputra river. That is why it is known as the Ganga Brahmaputra plain. It extends from the Satluj river in the west to the Brahmaputra river in the east, about 2400 kilometers. So Satluj river, easily you can find this is Satluj river and this is Brahmaputra river. So its length is almost equal to the Himalayan, because this is the length. So approximately 2400 kilometer length is there. The width of the northern plain decreases towards the east. Means when you go from, this is west direction, this is east direction. When we go from west to east, the length slightly, the width slightly decreases. So this discontinuity you can also see. The northern plains of India are made up of the fine silt brought by the river coming from the Himalayas. I have explained you earlier, the silt is known as alluvium. So this is fine silt, and this is the responsible to make this vast plain. This fertile silt is called alluvium. The thickness of the alluvium deposited by the rivers varies from place to place. The northern plains are divided into three parts. First, the Rajasthan plain, the area near the Rajasthan, and the Ganga basin and the Brahmaputra valley. Ganga basin, Brahmaputra valley. So these three divisions we can say. Rajasthan plain or the Great Indian Desert covers the western part of Rajasthan. It covers the western part of Rajasthan. The area has number of short seasonal streams which are not able to reach through the sea. Therefore, this is an area of inland drainage, and the land is generally rocky and the sandy. And the second one is the Ganga basin. You should know that we are living in the Ganga basin. The Ganga basin covers the largest part of the northern plains. It covers the part of Haryana, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and West Bengal. River Ganga originates from the Gangotri Glacier here. Gangotri Glacier in the Himalayas and enters the plains at Haridwar. The Ganga, along with its tributaries such as Yamuna, Gomati, Ghagra, Gandak, and Kosi, joined it on several places and have deposited their fertile alluvial soil alluvium in this part. And many more rivers such as Chambal, Betwa, Ken, and Son have also contributed to the formation of this plain. The general slope of the area toward the east means in the east direction the slope is there. In the east direction the slope is there, and mostly these rivers are flowed to the Bay of Bengal. Now let us have a look the third part of this plain, that is the Brahmaputra Valley. Brahmaputra Valley or the Assam Plains lies eastern in India, means this part you can say eastern in India, and you know well the Brahmaputra river originates in Tibet. In Tibet it is known as Sangpo river originates in Tibet and enters in India. It enters in India through Arunachal Pradesh. This river brings a large amount of silt from Assam. It enters Bangladesh, where it is called Jamuna, not Yamuna. This is known as Jamuna, Jamuna, Jamuna. So it is known as Jamuna. The Ganga and the Brahmaputra join together and form the largest delta in the world, that is Ganga Brahmaputra delta, and it is known as Sundarban delta because one tree is found here, that is Sundari tree. Sundari tree. That is why the delta is known as Sundarban delta. A major part of this delta lies in Bangladesh. The northern plains have many advantages. Some are the flat surface for building roads and railway. These regions are also responsible for the high density of population in the northern plains. So flat surface are found here. So it is very easy to make the building, road, railway, and many more things. New deposit of alluvium every year by the flood. New deposit of alluvium is originated, and this created fertility, enhanced the fertility of soil. Rivers provide water from for irrigation purpose. So agriculture is very good here, and a favorable climate for round the year for the farming, means whole year you can found the favorable climate for the farming. So farmers are very you can say fortunate here, so that they are growing their crops here. Now dear students, let us see the peninsular plateau of India. So this triangular part of India is known as the Deccan Plateau or Peninsular Plateau, and we are going to study about the properties of Peninsular Plateau. The Peninsular Plateau are located towards the south of the northern plains. Means these are northern plains and this is south direction. So just below the northern plain this is located. It is roughly triangular in shape. It is the oldest structure of the Indian subcontinent. The plateaus are surrounded by hill range on all the three sides. Means here you can say Vindhya range, Satpura range, Arauli range, some Chota Nagpur plateau are also made up of ranges. So all the three sides you can see the ranges. The north are the Aravali's. So here we are going to study about the detail. In the north, the Aravali ranges, the Vindhya and the Satpura and the Rajmahal is Aravali, Vindhya, Satpura and Rajmahal hills are also here. Rajmahal hills and Malwa Plateau are here. Now and the Western Ghat and the Eastern Ghat are also responsible for making these ranges. These ranges have no snowfield or glacier. The average height of the plains ranges from 600 meter to 900 meter, and the slope of the Deccan Plateau is from west to east. Means west is slightly higher than the eastern part. The plateau are made up of igneous and metamorphic rock. Why? Because some in the ancient time some volcanoes were there, and due to those volcanic eruptions many lava came out, and this made the region in volcanic in erupted region, and they have an undulating surface with low hills and rounded tops. Rounded top means hills are of two type, you can say. The new fold mountains are like this cone slope, and the old mountains are this type of slope, rounded slope. Due to the action of wind, the old mountains are become the rounded slopes. The Narmada river divides the entire plateau region into two parts, the central highland and the Deccan Plateau. So Narmada river divide it. The central highland, we are going to study about the central highland. The central highland, from the northern part, they have the series of plateaus such as Malwa, Buldelkhand, Baghelkhand, Chota Nagpur. These plateaus are made up of hard igneous rock. All the rivers from the central highland join Yamuna and the Ganga from the south, like Ken, Betwa and so on. Now the Deccan Plateau, we should see the Deccan Plateau. The Deccan Plateau extends from the Vindhyachal in the north to the southern tip of the peninsula. It bounded by the Western Ghat and the Eastern Ghat. Both these hill ranges meet at the Nilgiri hills. The northern part of the Deccan Plateau has the Vindhya range, the Mahadev hills and the Kaimur hills, and the Mackal ranges are also found here. Western Ghat, this Ghat, Western Ghat also known as the Sayadri. This is very important question for the exam. Sayadri have the Nilgiri, Annamalai and the Cardamom hill. Anaimudi 2695 meter high hill. Anaimudi is the highest peak in the Deccan Plateau. This is also very important for the board exam. The Eastern Ghat are broken into small hill ranges. Now we are talking about the Eastern Ghat. This Ghat, they are broken into small hill ranges by rivers such as Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. Most rivers of the peninsular India flow into the Bay of Bengal. The Narmada and the Tapi rivers in the northwestern part, however, flow into the Arabian Sea. Narmada and Tapi river, you can see here. Godavari, Narmada, Tapi. You have to locate this. You can locate. Godavari is the longest river of peninsular in India. That is why it is known as the Vriddha Ganga or Budi Ganga. Now we are talking about the coastal plains. Coastal plain means the this range, this area is known as coastal plain. So Deccan Plateau is bounded by the coastal plain in the east and the west. They run about 6100 km from the Run of Kutch. This is Run of Kutch. 6100 km from the Run of Kutch in the west to West Bengal in the east. The western and eastern coastal plains meet at Cape Comorin. Cape Comorin, you can say this point is known as Cape Comorin. So Western Ghat and Eastern Ghat meet here, and the total length is 6100 kilometer here. So they meet at Cape Comorin, and the southernmost tip of the Indian mainland. This is the southernmost tip of the Indian mainland. The eastern coast is broader than the western coast. Easily you can see in the map. Now the western coastal plain we are going to study in detail. The northern plains, the northern part of the western coastal plain is called the Konkan coast, and the southern part is the called the Malabar. यानी कि ये this is Konkan coast and this is Malabar coast. This is also very important for the examination point of view. The backwaters, locally called Kayals, are special features of the Malabar coast. Now the eastern coastal plain. The northern part of the eastern coastal plain is called Northern Circars. Here these are Northern Circars, and the southern part is called Coromandel Khas. These two things are also very important for the examination point of view. Rivers such as Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and the Kaveri are formed fertile deltas along the eastern coastal plain. Now we are going to finish the chapter from the island groups of India. So in the Arabian Sea you can see the Lakshadweep island, and in the Bay of Bengal you can see Andaman and Nicobar islands. So apart from several islands found along the coast of India, there are two main group of islands. One of them is Lakshadweep island in the Arabian Sea, and other is known as the Andaman and Nicobar island in the Bay of Bengal. This island is coral in origin. This is very important question for the exam. Coral in origin. Minicoy, with an area of about 5 square kilometer, is the largest island in the Lakshadweep group. The Minicoy here, and the Andaman and Nicobar groups stretches for a distance of about 600 kilometer from the Indian mainland. These islands are mountainous and covered with thick forest, and very few peoples are living here. Now we have finished the chapter, dear students. You have to study the whole chapter with your book and prepare the answers related to this chapter, and I hope this is very useful for you. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.